Dovetails, widely considered a sign of high-quality woodworking. They are a simple but daunting joint for a beginner. Every woodworker tries their hand at dovetails eventually. I've been woodworking for 2 years, but I've never cut a single dovetail. Until now. This is absolutely my first attempt at cutting dovetails. I have used other traditional joinery methods like mortise and tenon or box joints, but this is the first time I've ever tried hand cutting a joint like this. Armed with a sharpened set of Harbor Freight chisels and an old gentleman's saw, I dove right into the process. I've watched a few videos on cutting dovetails, so I sort of know the basics, but I'm not following any one particular video here. I'm basically just winging my first set, using my vague knowledge of the joint to power me through. I decided to cut the pins first. Why? I couldn't tell you. It seemed like the easiest way to get started was to just start cutting, so I did. I think I was very sloppy in my marking. The board kept sliding around as I was trying to transfer the pins to the tailboard. I also think I need to work on sawing straight. I'm not sure if this gentleman's saw is the best saw for the job, but it's what I've got, so I'm going to use it. Alright, here they come. Are you ready? The most positive thing I can say about my first attempt is that they are recognizable as dovetails. The wood split, the pins barely match the tails, and it just looks like I went off the deep end completely on one side. But I guess it's not bad for a half hour's work. Since that was pretty embarrassing, I'm going to show you my second attempt as well. Between attempts, I watched James Wright's video on how to cut dovetails. I'll leave a link in the description to the video if you haven't seen it. I picked up a few tips that seriously stepped up my marking game. I also decided to cut the tails first this time, since that's how James did it. We'll see which one I decide I like better. I did chisel things a little bit differently this time, basically the way James did it in his video. As a very part-time woodworker, I sometimes struggle with finding small tasks to do when I have limited time but still want to be in the shop. I'm also new at this whole video thing, so I figured I'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Following James's video, I transferred the tails to the pin board with the pin board in my vise. Everything was much easier to control this way. I'm shooting all my videos on an iPhone, so sometimes it's a little hard to see where the camera's actually aiming. That's one of the things I'd like to keep practicing as I do more videos like this. This time, instead of just jamming the 2 boards together, I took some time to clean up the pins after testing the fit. I think that seriously helped the final fit. I also didn't split the wood, so that's a win too. So here's attempt number 2. Much less disastrous than the first set, but I've still got a ways to go. I need to be more careful when chiseling to avoid chip out, or maybe I just need to stop using pine. I still don't feel like I'm sawing straight. I also need to pay closer attention to whether I'm sawing on the marked line or just inside the line, but I'm feeling a lot more hopeful about mastering this technique eventually, after my second attempt. We've all seen the "my first dovetail" pictures that look like they were hand-carved by angels. Maybe that's realistic for some, but I have a feeling this is more useful to anyone else out there who's been putting off cutting dovetails like me. Feel free to subscribe so you catch my next Dovetail Journal video. You can also find me on Instagram at dbbuilds to see what else I'm working on. Thanks for watching!